So joining me now, Matt Whitaker, U.S. Ambassador to NATO. Matt, good to have you with us. Thank you for being here. It is very interesting to watch the arrangement that President Trump has put in place here. First, demanding that NATO members up their defense spending to 5%, and now demanding essentially that they spend it on U.S. weaponry in order to defend themselves against Russia. It seems to be a very creative and very effective plan that we're watching play out here. Your thoughts on where we are?
Well, it's good to be with you, Martha. First, I don't think it was demanding anything. I think Europe wants to take over the traditional defense of Europe. They should. It takes the burden off the American taxpayer. It's what President Trump ran on and promised, and he's delivered. And now it's the next natural extension, and that is that they would pay for the defense of Ukraine, which wants to be a part of the EU, wants to be a part of Europe. And so ultimately, this is, again, an America First foreign policy statement that is good for Europe, it's good for the United States, and it delivers, middle-class jobs. Because the reality is right now in Europe, they cannot manufacture the armaments required on the battlefield of Ukraine or on the battlefield if there was a potential war in Europe. And so the United States is the premier manufacturer of these weapon systems, and they're going to deliver them to Europe, and Europe's going to pay for them. And it's a really smart way to go about it.
So in terms of this 50-day window, that after which Russia would have these really forceful sanctions put on them, and it's in legislation by Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Blumenthal, the president seems to want to have in that bill what they're calling optionality, so that if the bill passes, it would be up to the president to decide whether or not he wants to impose these sanctions based on behavior from Russia. Is that right? And what's your sense? Is he going to get that into that bill?
Well, under the Constitution, the president is the person who exercises foreign policy for the United States of America, and any bill that could help him exercise that foreign policy authority should give him full flexibility to dial up or dial down sanctions or any other tariffs at his desire and at his will, because that's how he's going to ultimately bring a peace on the battlefield. But what's most important in this whole thing is it needs to be understood that the only way Russia conducts this war is because of selling oil. And the only way they sell oil is through their shadow fleet to places like India, Brazil, and most importantly, China, who are continuing to enable this war. And it needs to end. And that's how you end it, is you go after the way it's funded. And that is funded through their oil being sold to those three countries primarily.
So in terms of the other money that's locked up, $300 billion in Russian assets that's held in the West, is there any suggestion that NATO would approve unfreezing those assets and using them as part of the money to pay for the war against Russia?
Yeah. Well, again, the returns that are being received from that is currently paying for the defense of Ukraine. So billions of dollars are being made in interest on those frozen funds, and those are being used by the European Union. A lot of those funds are held in Belgium, and ultimately that's going to be a European decision as to what to do with that. But certainly, NATO's voice has been loud and clear, is that, right now, President Trump, we need to enable the sale of American armaments through our European NATO allies, and then deploy those weapons systems and weapons on the battlefield in Ukraine. And again, it's a peace through strength. President Trump is the ultimate peacemaker. He has brought peace to a lot of regions of the world, including the 12-day war, including Iran and Israel, including India and Pakistan. And so ultimately, Donald Trump is going to create the situation in Russia, Ukraine, to bring both sides of the table and get a peace, because that's what is necessary right now. The killing needs to end. It is an unnecessary slaughter that's going on right now.
We hear Medvedev sort of shrugging the whole thing off, saying, we've had these deadlines before. They don't matter to us. We'll see where all of this goes. Matt Whitaker, thank you very much, Ambassador to NATO. Very good to see you.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you,
Good
Matt.
to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.